right now, what's happening with the nuclear deal, you see headlines like this with, oh, Iran has enough uranium to build an atomic bomb. And the replies underneath these posts and the comments that you hear, even from people in Congress, are so childish. It's so infantile. There's two kinds of responses that you hear. One of them is the Republican one where they're like, oh, look, Iran is a threat. It's a threat to Israel. It has to be neutralized and blah, blah, blah. And then the other response is, oh, you see, this is all because of Donald Trump. And, this would have never happened if he had left the nuclear deal. And so that's a bit more correct, but I'll explain why it's wrong. Because listen, the only reason Iran is enriching uranium again is because Trump left the nuclear deal. It's not because this is something they will be doing anyway. Do you understand? It's leverage. It's a consequence of Trump leaving the deal. It doesn't mean that if, there were no impediment that Iran would just be randomly enriching uranium. They don't have any interest to go up to 60%. Let me be very clear. In the JCPOA, in the Iran nuclear deal, in the text, it says that Iran cannot go past 3.67%. That's the limit. And that's all you need for research and civilian purposes. Okay? So when Iran is going up to 20 and going up to 60, do you know when Iran did that? Iran did that after the Israelis and the Americans murdered Iranian officials, Iranian scientists, blew up Iranian nuclear sites. That was a response. That was a signal to the West, like, if you keep going, we can also up the ante. Okay? That was a signal to the West, lift the sanctions and get the US back in the nuclear deal, or we will also do what we want. And by the way, I want to be very clear. When Iran adds more centrifuges, replaces centrifuges with newer models, enriches uranium past 3%, Iran is literally allowed to do these things as part of the agreement. Because the agreement says if any party leaves, and specifically the United States, if the US leaves the deal and reimposes sanctions on Iran, Iran will consider that as grounds of significant non-compliance and grounds for Iran to also not meet its obligations under the deal. And what does that mean? That means Iran also doesn't have to abide by it. Like, just think of this logically. If you sign a contract with somebody and they don't respect the contract, why the hell do you have to respect the contract? It's gone. So Iran has been very patient for the last years. Remember, Trump left in May 2018. Man, we just had May 2022. It's been 4 years that the Iranians are telling the Americans, get back in the deal. Respect your word. Hold up your end of the deal. And they don't want to do that. And so this is why Iran is increasing its uranium production. Now, I just want to show you very briefly. This is the development of Iran's uranium stockpile. Okay? The number of low-enriched uranium in kilograms is increasing. And then as soon as the nuclear deal is agreed, the JCPOA, bam, it drops down immediately. And then Trump quits the deal in 2018. Iran waits an entire year and then starts ramping up the quantity of low-enriched uranium. So that's another significant thing. Like, can you imagine when Trump quit in May 2018, Iran waited an entire year until May 2019 to do anything. They continued respecting the agreement in full, 100%. An entire year, basically giving the United States a chance to come back and change its mind and, hold up its end of the deal. When I read the stuff that the mainstream media is writing, I'm just so sick of it and shocked. I really feel sorry for people that are consuming this as their only source of news, because it's so distorted and wrong.